Hello, my name is Lydia Fraser and welcome to my first blog on professional practice for early years. The first thing I'm going to talk about is staff's various personalities. These can bring different skills but also different difficulties. One theorist who discusses this is Kruger's iceberg theory. Although this is largely to do with change, he believes that practitioners people fall into four different categories: opponents, potential opponents, promoters and potential promoters. It's important for practitioners such as myself to experience these various personalities, because if we experience them then we can understand how to support them best. For example, in my experience I led and managed a soft play activity. I had to decide who to take with me, as I'd have to leave two practitioners back in the room. So I knew that I had one experienced member of staff who would know how to risk assess, and they were, from my experience, a potential promoter. Although they were unsure on this activity as it was new, they would understand how to lead this if I supported them. I also had a new apprentice who'd just started, but she was an opponent as she was very worried about the new activity and underconfident, so I wasn't sure whether she would be using her best approach to safeguarding. Also, she might not know as much about it as the experienced member of staff. So for this activity, due to this, I took the experienced member of staff, even though, on reflection, this would have supported me and my apprentice in building up a relationship. The safeguarding of the children was more important. So things such as this is very important for practitioners to understand, as some people might just try and take someone they were friends with or get along well with, but it's important that you make decisions based on what will support the children best. And in this instance I took the experienced member of staff, as they would be better to observe the continual risks and hazards that we had to look for in the soft play session and remove these with me. EYFS knowledge is important as it supports practitioners in planning activities and extending children's learning, as they have this knowledge to create next steps for them. Some staff who attend my setting, when they're new, they go to EYFS training, which I think should be available for all staff, as this always needs to be refreshed and can be extended upon and maintain practitioners' professional development. Professionalism in early years includes showing a positive attitude and role modelling to others. Some practitioners could find this difficult due to personal circumstances or their ability to work well with certain people. As a result of this, in my setting, I have supported others with this by sharing my own experience of it. For example, once a parent was very angry and was shouting, and how to deal with this situation if it happens again was what I shared. By working with the setting's policy, not raising your voice higher than theirs, and another member of staff alerting the manager to this to safeguard the children and the other adults in the room. Actions such as standing on a chair to put up displays should be avoided in front of the children, as they copy our behaviour, as shown by theorist Bandora's experiment using the Bulbo dolls. If we stand on chairs, the children will copy us. The United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child 1989 gave children the rights that they still have today. It's important to understand these. As a practitioner, you have to maintain them. One way I did this is by supporting Article 29, which discusses about children having a right to their own and other cultures, and understanding both of these. In the setting, I put up a singular word in the three languages with an image on it, so that the children in my room who are multilingual will be able to look at these and read them in their own and other languages. It showed that we valued the children's culture and languages, and also still supported the British values legislation that's recently come into effect. It's important practitioners support children in maintaining their rights, as children cannot always vocalise what is happening to them, for example in the cases of abuse. Article 19 of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child explains children should be protected from violence and that government should help nurseries and schools achieve this. Practitioners support this process by documenting any concerns that they have at all. This includes even really small concerns, and then giving these to the designated safeguarding officer. No matter how small a concern is, it can create a picture that could potentially protect a child from harm, so it's an important part of the practitioner's role. It's important that practitioners are constantly reflecting upon practice. This is for their own and the setting's professional development, and because the child development sector is continually changing. For example, with recent legislation such as the Working Together 2015 that supports safeguarding further. This is why it's so important to have safeguarding refreshers and to make sure that all staff in the setting are safeguarding trained. And also for the hierarchy of where concerns should be sent, for example, to the designated safeguarding officer, who would be the deputy of that, who would be next, and things like that. From my experiences, settings thrive when they have a diverse range of staff in regards to age and experience. This is because some parents and carers may feel comfortable talking to a certain type of person, and this can help the home-school partnership that is so beneficial to children and families. Having the skills to lead workshops, such as a phonics workshop, will help children learn and develop, as if a practitioner has these skills to teach this. It will extend the children's learning ability because the parents can also teach this at home. To maintain professionalism, it's important to reflect on practice to ensure best practice is always being used. This means using various models to reflect and grow from, such as Kolb's learning theory 1974 or Gibbs' reflective cycle 1988. To extend on your ability as a practitioner, it's crucial to always be expanding your knowledge and to research new initiatives, as new findings in practice can support parents or carers who ask you for advice on a topic, such as first aid, which is a continually changing area. If a parent asks you what to do if their child has a nosebleed, it's important that you have the most up-to-date information and the way of dealing with this situation effectively. In September 2013, the early years teaching standards were implemented. I feel these were beneficial because they set out standards to be maintained to ensure best provision in early years for children and their families. One way I have used these standards is in being involved in a pilot scheme of having 2-year-old checks with the health visitors. I found this to be of best practice as I learnt more about the child and their family. However, I understand that from doing these, some parents and carers found it difficult to attend these, as they had to be in the health visitors' time, which is when the children were attending the setting, due to the parents being at work. So this caused difficulty in this scheme. Although the early years teaching standards tried to ensure best practice in the setting I worked in, I know that they found it difficult to manage the paperwork side of all the standards that were set out, such as the early years profile and the 2-year-old checks. In childcare, it's important to have the appropriate qualification. This is to ensure that the correct ratio is enforced and practitioners, children and their families are safeguarding. In 2016, a BBC News article reported discussing on the charity Save the Children that preschoolers can be set back decades if their brains are not stimulated before they start formal schooling, saying that the early years teachers in early years settings would support children and help parents support their children by creating an effective home-school partnership. To become an early years teacher, you have to have a degree and particular qualifications such as certain GCSEs, but affording staff with such qualifications cost more, so this initiative would be difficult to attain, although beneficial to the setting. Neil Leach, the Chief Executive of the Preschool Learning Alliance, said that a graduate-led workforce could improve learning. However, this would be difficult to afford. Professional requirements needed include skills such as being a good team player, good observational skills, and being a problem solver. However, personal skills are important as well, such as being caring and creative by nature, which will gain children's trust and also build a professional relationship with their parents. Creativity will make activities in the setting more engaging and allow the practitioner to be more resourceful in how they plan and lead activities. Thank you for listening to my blog, and I hope you enjoyed my various views on aspects of professionalism in early years practice.